I work for the FAA, and all government workers deferred buyout. And I actually sat down with all my bosses and said, hey, guys, I'm taking this deal.
It's your favorite day of the week, everybody. It is another Wednesday, which means a new episode of the Skid Steer Nation podcast. It's Ryan Deemer, and you know, we always talk about business here, right? When starting a business, it's tough, but starting one in a brand new area with zero reputation, now that's some next level stuff. Today, we got Ron Bilo. He's the owner of Bilo Acres Excavation and Grading. It's a veteran-owned excavation company that Ron and his wife, Leanne, built from the ground up. Ron focuses on delivering top-tier quality on the job site while Leanne runs the office and marketing. If you've ever wondered how to start fresh in a competitive industry and make a name for yourself, this episode is going to be packed with some insight just for you. Before we dive in, I do have a quick word from our sponsors. Because getting the job done is only half the battle. You also have to get found to find the right clients. That's why we started Throttled Up Marketing. So guys, if you run a land service business, but no one can find you online, you're leaving money on the table. At Throttled Up Marketing, we specialize in helping excavation and grading contractors rank on the first page of Google, build a brand that stands out, and create a digital presence that brings in real customers. If you want to stop being invisible online and start getting found by the clients you want, visit getthrottledup.com today. The show is also brought to you by the title, Skid Steer Nation. Your skid steer is only as good as the attachments you run on it, guys. Skid Steer Nation delivers American-made, heavy-duty skid steer attachments that last. No flimsy imports, nothing from China. Just tough, reliable tools built for contractors who depend on their equipment. Whether it's land clearing, grading, or moving material, we've got you covered. Visit skidsteernation.com and gear up with the best attachments on the market. Ron Bilo, Bilo Acres, man. I can't thank you enough for joining us today and spending some time with us.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, we were just talking before we started recording that we've got a mutual friend, Mike Grigg, and he had, what was his, On Grade? Was that the name of his podcast?
Yeah.
It was On Grade. I don't think he's done an episode for a while, a new one. But
we was on his podcast. It's probably been over a year we did that
December 23 is what it said. Was it? Yeah. Yeah, Mike's a great guy, man. He lives up in Canada, and he does a lot of website builds, works with a lot of contractors up there. Likes to, I think he runs equipment on the weekends or sides and like used to do it full time. So he's a unique breed that he understands and loves marketing, but he also knows the industry inside and out. We're kind of kindred spirits that way, him and I.
Yeah, it's funny how we all evolve into other things.
It really is, man. It really is. I'll tell you what, back when I was owning bars and restaurants, if you'd have said you'll end up in construction, excavation, manufacturing, I would have laughed at you.
Yeah.
So, and like you were, before you got into business, were you like airline maintenance or?
Well, yeah, I was 20 years Air Force. Retired from that. I was aircraft maintenance. Yeah. Worked on the F-15. Finished on the B-2 bomber.
And then next thing you know, you end up with the dirt business.
Yeah, it's kind of it wasn't planned. That's for sure. It just it happened.
I'm going to take a shot in the dark, man. Did you buy a tractor for own personal use and start doing services for other people? It's such it's the golden boy path of how people get into this business.
That's exactly what we did. I had an old John Deere 850 tractor that we had for years, and we moved out here after military out by the lake, and I talked my old lady into letting me buy a cabbed tractor, and then that's where it all started. So we bought a new tractor, and then bought, the brush hog and all those kinds of things for it. And I was like, man, I wonder if I could do some work for neighbors and grading driveways and stuff like that. And that's where it all started.
Were you working at all after you retired from the Air Force, or were you just figuring out what your next step was and this was playing around and that's how the business evolved?
Well, actually, I have a confession to make. I still have a full-time job.
Do you really?
I do.
What else do you do besides this?
So I work for the Federal Aviation Administration.
Okay.
Full-time. And I've been doing that since, well, it's been quite a while now, but I'm right to the point now where I'm about ready to quit that and go full time on my business.
Yeah.
But
what do you do for the FAA?
so the fancy name for it is I'm an airway transportation system specialist. So what that means is I maintain all of the electronics that are on the ground. So instrument landing systems, radar, all the navigational systems, air traffic control towers. I work directly with air traffic controllers, so we maintain their radios, all those kinds of things. So Columbia, Missouri, Jefferson City, Missouri, those towers there, those are assigned to me. I work on those.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Air traffic controllers there.
So do you travel most days during the week then?
So we have an office in Columbia that we all show up to. It's like our hub where we park all of our vehicles, and then we branch out from there. So we maintain equipment anywhere from Keokuk, Iowa, all the way down to Rolla, Missouri.
I love Rolla, Missouri.
We got like an 8-hour.
That's a big circle
that we maintain.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you ever spend any time down in Rolla?
I actually grew up in Sullivan. I was born and raised there.
Did you really?
Mm-hmm.
We used to go down there every spring and trout fish the opener. Actually, the weekend after the opener, because the opener's a shit show. But
Montauk.
Yeah, Montauk. Camp and get drunk with the boys, and somebody'd fall in the stream, and off we'd go, man.
They actually
it was inevitable one of us would get a ticket for using artificial lures in the wrong part of the stream, but whatever.
Yeah, you got to be careful down there.
It's just a beautiful area down there.
Yeah.
And what's the university that's in Rolla? They push out a ton of high quality engineers into the industry.
Yeah. I think it's what do they call it? UMR, University of Missouri Rolla. I
think you're right, but my good friend Dan Morgan up here in Peoria, he went to Rolla.
Gotcha.
And now he owns a business. He owns 4 businesses. They've got engineers that they contract to Boeing in St. Louis on site. He's got a machine shop. They've got 2 machine shops, a commercial lawn care company. He's just a smart dude, that engineering brain.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but so I don't think we mentioned it earlier, but like you're right in the heart of the Lake of the Ozarks. So
yes.
Party Center, USA.
Yep. And believe it or not, I've only been on the water one time.
No kidding.
We live here but we don't ever do the lake stuff. We're just,
you never been to the shootout?
Nope, never been.
You're familiar with them though, right?
Oh, I know what it is. Yeah.
That's some wild stuff.
That time of year when you live here and all that stuff's going on, you just kind of want to tuck away, just be away from everything and everybody because it gets crazy.
I don't disagree with you, Ron, but there's something that draws me to seeing a pontoon boat doing 120 miles across the lake.
Yeah. The problem is if I went and seen that, I would want one, and I would probably get one.
Well, you couldn't afford one, man. I can't. Can you imagine how much money they've got in a pontoon? I bet that's a $500,000 boat.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, back when 20 years ago, it was like what, 10,000 per mile per hour, if like faster from your stock boat, if you wanted to increase it. So if you had a power boat, I bet it's double that today.
Oh, sure.
Can you imagine going from 74 to 78 miles an hour and dropping 60 or 80 grand just to go 4 miles an hour faster?
Yeah, that's wild.
That's the definition of FU money if I've ever heard it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So back to you and your journey. Bilo Acres 2021, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So was this a COVID project with the tractor and boredom and?
No, I wish it was. We didn't really even start trying to advertise, or we didn't really kick it off with any kind of effort until after COVID was done.
Okay.
I wish I would have got that COVID boom where it seemed like everything was crazy, but I mean, we're excited about the future because, we started our business in 2021 and everybody's always I mean, I don't want to get into politics here, but everybody says, how awesome it's going to be under Trump. And we've only operated under the last administration. So
Yeah.
we're curious to see what the future holds. And so far,
So
I tell you, it's been good.
yeah, I mean, I think it sets conservatives' minds at ease, right? I mean,
Hmm.
and from my personal experience, I think large land property owners typically lean that way.
Hmm. Yeah.
There's a reason why if you look at the maps of voters, whether they voted blue or red, like they're super condensed in urban areas.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. And working down here at the lake, I got to stay very neutral and
yeah,
keep I mean, you can understand there's all walks of life that come down to the lake and move here. So,
no, and as the older I get, Ron, like I have strong beliefs in how I want the government to run and how I would like things to work. But I have an enormous amount of respect for people that have different opposing opinions. And as long as you're willing to have a conversation about it and not scream at me, I'm happy to talk about it and not try to change your mind, right? Try to understand why you feel that way. So obviously from this conversation, I would lean towards the conservative side of life. And one of my really close friends, like he's a doctor, he's a radiologist, and I would consider him far left.
Mm-hmm.
And on social media, like he's the screamer, capital letters, Trump's the devil. But two people sitting on the back deck after having dinner, it's the best conversation I've ever had.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what, I was very excited about the next coming year or two. And then I got a friend of mine that works in the gun industry.
Mm-hmm.
And he's saying that the gun manufacturers and the ammo manufacturers are expecting to have a down year. And not one company, but multiple companies have said that they're going to have a down year. So I don't know if they just sold so much surplus during the last administration. Like people were worried about bans or whatever, so they were hoarding guns and ammo, and that's going to be the dip in their market. Or if it's just, let's be honest, man, these tax laws get changed, tariffs gets changed, and they keep ripping through with Doge. Like something's going to have to break before it gets rebuilt.
Yeah. 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 So, I mean, I work for the federal government, so I have an inside look at some of this stuff. I was offered the deferred buyout.
Were you?
Yeah.
With owning Bilo Acres and you saying you're getting close to wanting to go full time, how tempting was it to take that?
Well, there's a whole story behind that. So I got the rug pulled out from under me on that one.
Okay.
So I know if you watch social media and all the stuff going on, you hear a lot of opinions and people like they instantly want to blame Trump for plane crashes and this, that, and the other. Well, I work for the FAA and I work on the equipment that these aircraft use and all the air traffic controllers and stuff like that. But so DOJ sent out that email offering all government workers a deferred buyout. And I was going to take it. I actually sat down with all my bosses and said, hey, guys, I'm taking this deal. And not even a couple of days later, that crash in Washington happened with that helicopter. And the FAA shut us down. They said, no air traffic controllers, no ATSSs, which is me, and no inspectors can take the program. So they pulled the rug right out from under me.
Oh, man. Because that was supposed to be what, 6 months severance?
It was going to be
8
all the way
months
till September 30th.
September, 9 months, 8 or 9 months.
Yeah.
And if you're like sitting in your shoes, owning that business, looking at the right time to go full time, why wouldn't you take it?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm still doing it. I'm not letting the government determine my future. I mean, before they came out with that offer, we knew that this spring was the time. I'm going for it because, I mean, we've grown our business up to, last year we had 3 employees.
That's awesome.
Now we're down to 1, and we're booked out now with me working full time and my other full-time guy, we got work all the way out halfway through the year through May.
Yeah, it's time then.
Yeah, it's time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel silly going and sitting at a desk.
While the guys are out sweating.
Yeah, trust me, I'd rather be sitting in a machine than working for the government. But,
No, I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you.
Yeah.
So 20, are you from the Missouri area, or how did you end up there?
Yeah, I was born and raised over
at Sullivan.
Yeah.
That's how good my memory is today. Sorry.
Yeah. So right now, I'm about an hour and a half from where I was born and raised.
Okay. And then when you joined the Air Force, did you do a lot of world traveling through the Air Force, or were you primarily located in the U.S.?
U.S. So when I went on the B-2 program, which I spent 14 years, there's only one base that has B-2 bombers, and it's Whiteman. And
okay.
I was on that aircraft till I retired.
That's awesome. My godson went to Guam for a year.
Yeah.
I think he was driving the fork truck, and they just kept rotating ammunition. He's like, "This is the dumbest thing ever."
Yep. So he was an ammo troop.
I'll tell you what, he had the best deal I've ever heard. And this kid, like, God bless him. I love the kid to death, but like sometimes shit just happens to him. I'm like, do you have a horseshoe in your rear end? Or like, how does that even happen?
Yeah.
But he tested out, through basic and ended up in this department. And then he took he was supposed to go to Alaska, ended up going to Guam. Mm-hmm. And he was there like 9 months. And then the Air Force came out and says, "Hey, we just realized that we have like worldwide 400 and X number of people, too many in your area." So then they had these parameters. If you're over an E this, but below an E that, and you've got this training, but not this training, you can apply for early exit and you get the same credit as if you did 4 years service.
Oh, nice.
So he did 1 year of service, got approved for the program, got out, started going to college, full GI Bill, full everything, getting paid every month, signed up for the Air National Guard down here in Peoria. We did that for 2 or 3 years. And I'm like, he's going to have a master's degree, zero debt, and he's working full time at a community college making money. Like he's just light years ahead of where most kids are at 21, 22.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. People don't tune in to listen to about my godson, though. We should probably talk about dirt work or business or life.
Talk about some cool machines.
Talk about some cool shit around here. Yeah. Let's think about this, man. So yeah, Ozarks, great high net worth area. If people aren't familiar with it, like, I mean, the Anheuser-Busch family owned a ton of property down there forever. They probably still do.
Yeah. I think that property's for sale, actually.
I can't imagine what that's selling for. 20 million.
It was up there. It was high.
Yeah. Do they have the house that's up on the cliff?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a monster. Yeah,
there's some cool stuff out here. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's a beautiful area. Yeah. You don't feel like you're in the Midwest at the Ozarks, so you feel like you're more towards Colorado with some of that. Like you're the foothills almost. You have a lot of good rolling hills, terrain, beautiful area.
It's cool working out here because especially in the off season, I'll get some jobs and we'll be working down by the water, and we're the only ones in the neighborhood because nobody's here, so it's why we got the place to ourselves.
Is there any companies down there that have like dredge setups?
No, but I just got a lead for somebody wanting me to dredge around their dock, so I need to look into that.
I'll have to remind me after the episode. I've got a good friend of mine in Vermont, and he's got a whole marine service division for his excavation company, and he's got an excavator set up on a dredge, and they'll do dredging for harbors. They'll do dock installations, removals, erosion control around from the water side, or just whatever. But he does pretty well with it.
There's several companies around here that have barges, and they do work from the barge.
Yeah.
Which is pretty freaking cool.
It is.
But they do stuff like riprap along the bank and stuff like that, which that's the way to do it. So you're not tearing up customers' yards and stuff like that.
Well, no. And then like you get over there by like the dam and all that, like some of those slopes are so steep, you couldn't do it from the ground.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because my one employee that I have is actually my father-in-law, and he's been doing this stuff for over 40 years. He's 64 now. I'm basically his retirement plan.
Yep.
But he moved from Illinois out here to work for me, and also
did
to be
he
closer
really?
to family. So he's been working for me for right at a year now. So his first few months, man, he was cussing me all the time.
Oh, I
He
bet.
come from Flatland. He goes, what are you signing me up for?
Yeah. What part of Illinois was he from?
Litchfield.
Oh, Litchfield?
Yeah.
Yeah, very familiar with it. It's about an hour and 10 minutes away from me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm just in
Gotcha.
Peoria, Illinois.
Oh, okay.
So
cool.
Yeah, my good friend from college was born and raised in Litchfield back in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like Litchfield, Illinois is like dead smack center of the state. It is as flat as it gets. There's probably not 7 feet elevation change across that town.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would go back and visit my in-laws for probably the past 10 years when they lived in Illinois over in Litchfield. And I could never get my sense of direction because everything looks exactly the same and it's all corn.
Yeah, we are full of corn around. Corn or soybeans, man. Depends on the rotational year. But that's about it. Oh. What struggles do you have operating a business that's booking work out that far in advance and not being on the ground every day?
I don't know. I don't really have a lot of struggles. I mean, I do work my business pretty much every day. I may not be at it full time every day, but I'll go out on the job sites in the evenings.
You do every day?
Every day. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And then, so the work schedule I work with my federal job, it's 4 10-hour shifts. So I have
3 days
Sunday,
off.
Monday off. Yeah.
Yep.
So I put in 40 plus hours with the business, and then I, work for the federal government as well. And we've been doing that for 4 years now.
Oh, wow.
It's been rough.
Yeah. Your wife's probably ready for you to be home.
That's the main reason why I want to go full time, is so I can get my life back. We've been doing this for 4 years. My wife's been the admin for 4 years. She fields all the phone calls, does all the marketing and budgeting and all the numbers, and it's been tiring.
Safe to say you would not have a business if it wasn't for your wife's support?
There's no way. I got 2 secret weapons, and she's one of them. She's my secret weapon, and then my father-in-law is my secret weapon because he's a world of knowledge.
Yep.
And he's the kind of guy, that everybody's looking for. He's the guy that I can send out on a job on his own. I can give him the plan, send him a pin on a map, say, go here, knock this out, and he'll load up the equipment, go down there and do it, and come back, and it's perfect.
And he can talk to the customers, and he can do this, he's
really good with the customers, and yeah.
Because that's, a lot of guys, you find that, you can find a great operator, but most great self-proclaimed great operators usually come with bad communication skills.
Yeah. Running machines is the easy part. It's the getting the leads and the marketing and getting the work's the hardest part. So to be able to book out so far, what's worked for you as far as like, what's your branding marketing approach that your wife takes for the business? Our best leads come from Google, no doubt. We got a good website. We push really hard for Google reviews, things like that. Yeah, it's my buddy. I talked about him last week too, but my buddy Eric, he made a comment to me years ago, and I just never stopped laughing at it. He's like, he's a police officer, we retired, but he goes, best place to hide a dead body is on page 2 of Google. Yeah. And Google, man, it'll wear you down. It doesn't make any sense. They just change shit all the time too. Yeah. One day you can be ranked number 1. You search your area for whatever keywords and you're at the top. And the next you're way down on the list, and it doesn't make any sense. Yeah. We get calls from clients like, why did I move? And I'm like, I have to look at it. I don't know why. It's Google. Well, I mean, SEO and marketing and ranking on Google, it's a journey. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time.
No, it's a 6 to 12 month commitment.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And that's to get there, right?
Yeah.
And then most people say, sweet, I'm here. I can quit paying that company. And I'm like, well, then you're going to be back to page 2 in 3 months, because it's an ongoing.
Yeah.
It really is an ongoing thing. Because I learned that the hard way. Because before we throttled up marketing, I was just doing my own marketing and assisting guys. Like I would do SEO for Skid Steer Nation. We'd start getting keywords rising into the top 3, top 5. I'd quit working on it. Wouldn't do this, wouldn't update that. And then next thing you know, we're 12. And I'm like, damn, this is a full-time job.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's overwhelming and you can't do it all.
Yeah.
You gotta have help.
And I think the landscape's slightly shifting now, but up until the last couple of years, I mean, any excavation company that would invest a little effort and money into proper online SEO and citation building and all that, it was like easy to get in the top 3 because so many companies weren't doing it.
Yeah, definitely.
And now you're seeing more and more.
If you look in my area, there's companies that they're on Google and they'll have a website and they're doing good work because they've been around a long time, but they'll have like 2 reviews. It's like, guys, ask for reviews. But
yeah.
That's the number one thing to get you ranking is reviews. Yeah,
well, that shit didn't matter back 20 years ago, right? Like they're following that old school process.
Yeah. And you almost gotta coach your clients to teach them how to leave a good review too. That's one thing that we do.
Oh, do you really? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I just, if I finished up a job and I'm talking to a customer and we're wrapping up, I'll usually, before I leave, I'll say, hey, would you mind doing me a favor? Can you leave me a Google review? It'll help us out a ton. It helps us get found by more customers. And then I'll just ask them, just make a brief statement saying what we did out here. Like, because the keywords matter because it goes into your SEO and your when somebody searches something on Google, if your customer says, hey, Ron did an awesome job clearing my land. Well, now land clearing is part of it. It'll pull up your review.
Yeah.
And
I love that. I've actually learned from a couple guys and they've been doing it for a year now. And it's such a simple, tiny tweak that you could add. And not that you probably need it, but he said, stop asking people for Google reviews. And I go, what do you mean? He was asking for 5-star reviews. So it's the same process, right? Like, hey, would you be willing to give me a Google 5-star review? Like, I'd really appreciate it. But he's like, yeah, that little subconscious bump, like it has increased my number of reviews and the number of 5-star reviews just by asking for exactly what you want, which is a 5-star review.
Oh, yeah. That's solid advice, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to ask for the reviews. You have to ask for them. And I can tell you about probably half the people that say they're going to do it because people they don't keep their word typically. But
no, they're busy.
Yeah, people get busy and it's not a priority. And another thing we do is I make it super easy for them. So I text a link directly to them to their phone. All they got to do is click on it and it takes them right to it. And then they just. So
yeah, and I've seen guys, they put the QR code on their invoices too.
Yeah, that would help too.
So they can just scan it. I mean, QR codes to me are wild, right? Like it was the coolest thing when they came out 15 years ago when I found them. I'm like, these are awesome. And nobody knew what the hell they were. Nobody knew how to use them. And if it wasn't for COVID, I still don't think they would be relevant to the general population. But after COVID, like you couldn't even look at a restaurant menu without smacking a phone out and hitting a QR code.
Yeah. One of my buddies, he's got a home inspection company, and he had these like poker chips made that's got his company name on it, and then it's got his QR code on it, which if you scan it, it puts all of his contact information in your phone and all of his website stuff and all that. So you have all his contact already in your phone.
That's pretty cool.
Handy.
That's really handy. Yeah. Really handy. What kind of work do you see do you see trends in the type of work that you've got lined up for this year? Are you starting to see more of the same services being asked?
Yeah, out here there's a lot of construction going on, a lot of new homes going up, so we're doing a lot of site prep, a lot of site development, things like that. We've really evolved into doing quite a bit of things, and I'm trying to narrow it down because I was that guy where I'm like, well, I got a machine, I can do that.
Right.
And now I'm realizing it gets overwhelming, and I'm just trying to narrow my services down. But yeah, I would say site prep, underground utilities. My favorite thing to do is I like little 1-2 day jobs, like more of the entry level, go out, grade a driveway, grade a yard. We got a forestry mulcher. We do a little bit of that. But those are the kind of work I like to do.
It's such rewarding work, and it's like, low hanging fruit. Every house has it or needs it. And so many guys start doing that, and everyone wants to leave it as soon as they start growing a business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's more client management, right? Like people want less clients, larger numbers.
Yeah. That's my biggest complaint with my business. Cause I have a buddy, he's about to retire. He's been doing this stuff for, I don't know, 30, 40 years. He's got 11 guys that work for him. He's the guy that's doing, $5 million subdivisions and stuff like that. But I was just on the phone with him last night, and he only has to deal with like 1 or 2 customers a year, which is awesome. And he doesn't have to do all of the online marketing. He doesn't even have a website, nothing.
Right.
No social media, nothing. And I'm out. I'm probably doing 2 or 3 bids a week, meeting new customers, making content for Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, all that.
Do any of those social platforms work for you?
I get a little work from Facebook. I'm not a huge fan of Facebook because a lot of the leads aren't the best. I get a lot of tire kickers on there, but I primarily use Facebook just to build my brand, and it allows people to get to know us and our company. And it keeps that relationship with our past customers, I guess you would say.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer. Like, even if they find you on a Google search, I feel like there's a large percentage of people that are still just going to go check out your Facebook page.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right. So it's one of those necessary evils where you've got to have some signage, brochures, flyers, business cards. You've got to have the grassroots, traditional marketing materials. You've got to have your SEO and your website, your Google map pack. And then you also have to have your social media. And I say and they don't have to be amazing, but they just have to be able to build trust in a triangle, right? Like people are going to bounce from all, like they see your flyer, they check out your website, they go to Facebook, they find your Facebook page, they click the link to go to your website. I can't believe how many people on Facebook don't put their link to their website visible on their home.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Definitely. Yeah. Facebook, it's just, don't overthink it and keep it simple. If you click on a business, like that's my pet peeve. If I'm looking at a business, like if I'm looking for a plumber or something and I click on their thing, I want to see at the top, because you can put a little paragraph kind of introducing your company. I want to know who you are and where you're at.
Right.
Where do you work? Because, a lot of guys on Facebook, they'll market themselves wrong, and you'll see paid ads from people in other states and stuff.
Right. I know. I just went into an ad account and fixed that and it's really what it is. We talk about this offline all the time, but Facebook made it so easy just to boost a post for you guys. So I don't need to hire a marketing company. I can just make a post and then boost it.
Yeah.
But when you actually go into the ads manager of Facebook, and then you can see just how granular or how targeted you can get down to, like zip codes, include, exclude, interest, age. And like, that's where you can really make sure that the money you spend on ads stays in your community.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Where a boosted post, like it's like I see it all the time where they just boost a post and it's going out to the USA.
Yeah. And that's something we've never done anything on Facebook for paid. It's just all through our page and groups. I'll share stuff to groups and stuff like that. But
I find that I feel like social media sites, especially Facebook, it's a great place to provide educational content and be a resource to people.
yes.
The problem with that is it's a full-time job.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I do. If you go look at our Facebook page, I do a lot of videos. I show my face a lot. I talk to everybody. I'll just go out and be like, hey guys, we're out here on this job site, putting in this road. Check this out.
Yeah, and you've got a great delivery on those. I watched a few of those videos before we did this today. But like you've just got a great delivery. You've got a believable smile. It's like you're just like polite. You kind of talk, but you talk in a way that people can understand it. And I enjoyed watching them. So you're doing. I feel like you're doing a great job with them.
Thank you. Well, and that's my goal, and I want people to be able to go when they find us. I want them to be able to decide before they even call if they like me or if they even want to work with me.
Yeah.
That way, I'm not wasting their time. They're not wasting mine.
So talking about that, making sure that they like you, do you like when you have a customer call in and wants to, need a bid for something, are you interviewing them to see if they're a good fit for you also?
Oh, I always pre-qualify my customers. Yeah, I'm not the guy that just runs out and looks at jobs. I just took a phone call right before on this podcast. A guy's got 15 acres he wants cleared down in Eldon. And, I got my preliminary questions and I give them some general pricing of what something like that would typically cost. Because customers, they just don't know what things cost.
They don't.
And you'll know instantly. They'll give you the answer. You'll know if they're gonna if they're gonna hire you or if you're even in a realistic ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
But I just give a bracketed price typically. So I'll say, well, a project like that would typically be between this number and this number. How does that sound?
And we have to come look at it and see the type of material.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
If they're like, that sounds good, I'm like, okay, well then, when can I come out and look at it? We'll see if we can lock down a good number for you.
Mm-hmm. And I find that the more you pre-qualify, the more they want you.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's so the way it works for us is we have a business phone. So my wife answers that. So she fields the initial calls and that's one of the very first things that we ask is what is your project timeline? Because we're already booked out through May and there's no need to even talk to them anymore if they need it like now.
Right.
So
do you recommend other contractors then if it is a timeline issue like that so you can still be a source of a solution to them or no?
I wish I had somebody to recommend, but
okay.
I really don't at this point. There's a few guys here in the area that are young and starting their company that are looking promising that I could probably work with, but it's just hard to put your name on somebody else.
No, it really is.
Yeah. But yeah, social media it's necessary. And I know a lot of people don't like TikTok, but I do TikTok as well. And TikTok's unique because I don't know how, but people local find you on TikTok. I don't know how, but I've been out on job sites grading roads and I've had neighbors come out and they're like, hey, I seen you on TikTok. I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah. I never took the time to learn TikTok. Like we'll take this episode and we'll cut it into like 20 or 30 short clips and we'll pick 5 of the best ones and we'll put them out on Facebook Reels and TikTok. But that's about the extent of my interaction with TikTok. Yeah. And I'll go 4 weeks before I'm like, shit, I haven't looked to see if there's any questions on there, like any comments or messages.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say, for me, I haven't got I haven't met and got any leads off of TikTok, like specifically through customers, but I do a lot of like educational posts or kind of share information on why I may do one thing or why I have a single axle dump truck versus this, and I've had a lot of, people wanting to start out their companies reach out to me, and a lot of them are local, and they end up starting their businesses, and we stay in touch, and I help them out and help them bid jobs. And that's one thing is out here, there's so much work. There's enough work for everybody. So I'm not that competitive guy where I think somebody's going to take something from me. So I'm very open, and I'm willing to help. And that has always come back to me 10 times over. Like if I just help a guy out, help them bid a job or give them advice, anything like that. Like a lot of these like young guys, I do all the hauling for them because they'll land jobs. I'll help them bid them and they'll land them. And I got a tandem dump truck. Well, they hire me to haul for them. So
yeah, I've got a couple guys that I know, and they've actually all become clients of Throttled Up Marketing. But these 3 guys, they text in a group text constantly. They've never met each other in person.
Yeah.
And like their wife calls them the Stooges, so they name their text thread the Stooges. But like it's back to what you're saying, right? Like helping other people reach their dreams just helps you reach yours faster.
Yeah. It comes back to you. It really does. Mm-hmm. It's the little things like yesterday. It's just the little things that get your name out there. Like there was a local group in the area where this lady made a post saying, "Hey, my dad's a veteran. My brother's a veteran. Our electric bill's super high this month. Does anybody have any firewood that we can get for cheap?" And I just commented on that post. I made sure I did it on purpose.
You did it from the business account.
As our business because I wanted to get exposure. I said, "Hey, we can help. Give me a call. I got some wood for you." And I got 3 leads off that yesterday. 3 phone calls saying, "Hey, I seen your post," and all I did, I gave out some firewood, helped out some fellow veterans, and
right. And people like that. They like people that are engaged in the community.
Yeah. Yeah. Just keep it simple. Don't overthink it.
Is it a mental or a, excuse me. Sometimes I struggle with that, like doing good deeds, knowing I'm doing it for profit.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it was for profit, but it's, I see what you're saying.
No, but like you purposely use the business account to provide free firewood, knowing or hoping that you'd get leads for other projects. Yes. Right. So like you're doing your good deed exposure at no cost, but you know that there's a high potential of profit from the other jobs that the exposure you get from it.
Yeah.
I struggle with that personally.
Well, it's hard for us because we're not from here and we have 0 family, and I'm 42 years old. I don't even have time for friends. All we do is work and do stuff with the kids. And so we know nobody. So all of our leads are cold. So if I can get any eyes on our company, it helps us.
Immensely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Immensely. Yeah. And then you're in a unique, and like my take on this is like, you're in a very unique situation. One, you're not local. And 2, the area that you chose to live in, high number of people that aren't local either.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you have an enormous amount of second, third vacation homes around that lake.
Yeah. Well, and that's what a lot of my customers, they don't live here. There's a lot of times I'll go out and do bids for projects, and they're a few states away, and we'll just do a video call and I'll walk the job with them. And
do you ask them how they found you?
Yes, Google.
It's always Google.
Time. Yeah.
I just wondered if there's not like a real estate agent or insurance broker or like the Harbor Marina. If they're asking people locally, hey, who do you know that does this, or who do you trust that does this type of work or not?
Yeah, I get a lot of referral work from past customers, but yeah, I don't have that relationship with any realtors or anything like that.
Yeah. I've always been baffled, and this is off topic, but I've always been shocked. Like, you feel like those vacation type settings, if a realtor just like built out a resources page, like for plumbers and HVAC and like trusted and vetted, and we've used them for 10 years, and you don't have to search and wonder if you're going to get a quality person in your home. Like, I feel like that would be just a massive benefit to a realtor to provide that list of providers to everyone that purchases a home new to the area.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that.
And don't do it like you're selling your ad space. Like, hey, do you want to be in my catalog? Oh, it's $500. No. Like, pick legitimate businesses.
Yeah. 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 The only interaction I've had with realtors is I had a local agency call the office asking if we wanted to come give a presentation to their staff over like a lunch and learn. And I entertained it, but I ended up not doing it because they wanted me to provide catering and then come down there and give them a speech. And
that's all they want is the free lunch, man.
That's what I'm like, you suckers. I'm like, why don't you buy me lunch for coming down there?
Yeah. Now, if you did like septic inspections, might be a different scenario.
Yeah. But
I mean,
yeah. I actually went and got certified in septic and never did it.
My opinion is don't dabble in it. Either you're a septic company or you don't do it.
That's my exact opinion on that as well. After I went through the class and kind of started learning the books and learning all that stuff, I'm like, you know what? If you don't have the word septic in the name of your company, you probably shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah. I mean, I watched my friends start a septic business. They transitioned into it, and like they'd be excited when they get a system done in 2 days, 2.5 days. And now they are pissed off if they're not in and out in 1 day. Like, they've gotten so efficient at it that they're probably, you couldn't be competitive with them.
Yeah. Well, and these systems down here at the lake, they're advanced drip systems. They're $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 systems.
Yeah, you've got the ejection pumps and then the limited leach fields and aeration and
you got to import soils and all this stuff. Do
you have a lot of them that have like a double tank, like they have the lift tank?
Oh yeah. So I decided.
Yeah, how do you dabble in that? How do you throw one of those a year in the ground?
Yeah, well, and when you do an advanced system, by the state code, you have to warranty it for 2 years.
Right.
So for 2 years, you're responsible for that sucker, which you should be. But man, I wouldn't sleep at night if I had 10 of those in the ground.
If you've only done a couple here and a couple there, but I mean, if you did it day in, day out, it'd be like old hat. It'd be like, I wouldn't even think about working on an Air Force aircraft,
Yeah.
And you're like, well, it's no big deal. It's just what we do.
Yeah. Yeah. The one thing we did get out of the class though, is we build lagoons. So we're certified to do that.
That's awesome.
We built several of those.
Yeah. I mean, you're booked out till May, so you don't need any help on that. But do you do a lot of erosion control work down there?
Not a lot. If anything, it would just be riprap and ditches and stuff like that.
Yeah. You just figure all that lake and the terrain, if that would be a thing down there. A lot of culvert replacements?
Yeah, we do a lot of culvert work. I'm telling you, I bet you 75% of my work is it's as simple as grading driveways, because everything's on a hill down here.
Yeah, I mean, I know guys that make a one-man band, and I mean, and you know how much, like, you've got your overhead costs, a little bit of rock time to time.
Yeah,
and if you've got the right grader attachment, like the Do-More grader, it makes grading driveways a breeze.
Yeah,
and your profit margins on $500,000 a year are ridiculous.
Yeah. That's what I really leaned into the driveway stuff, and we got a vibratory roller for the skid steer and a grader, and that makes us super efficient. And
yeah, what grader attachment? What grader style did you go with?
I went with the. Now I told you I have a grader. I don't actually use it because I don't like it. It's what is it? It's a Skid Max.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's good. But
I'm familiar with them.
Yeah. I prefer just to use a bucket anymore.
Really?
To be honest with you. Yeah.
What is it about it you don't like? I'm just curious.
Well, the one I bought, it's 8 foot wide.
That's the
and
problem.
and it's got it's got two cutting edges on the inside, and there's a hydraulic arm that you're supposed to be able to angle it to crown roads. Well, it doesn't work. It doesn't. You can't change grade with it. It just makes everything flat.
Oh,
and I don't like that. I feel like I have a little more control with a bucket.
Okay. Yeah, so Do More Equipment, which is we sell them at Skid Steer Nation. I ran that company for 10 years. They bought that patent design for those graders from a family down in Mississippi. I mean, way down in Mississippi. The kid moved up here to work at the company. Drugs, alcohol, this, that, whatever. He got removed from his position. He took all the prints from Do More Equipment down there, and him and his brother started building the Skid Max graders.
Oh, gotcha.
So,
yeah.
So yeah, I'm very familiar with the whole family and business. And,
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think if I was going to get anything other than that grader, I would like to try out one of those. I don't know what you call it. It's the plate that goes on where you can
tilt attach.
Yeah. I think that would be super handy.
They're really handy. But I mean, I'll tell you what, man. I don't know if you ever did a time test on that, but if you take that grader, especially when you've got potholes, waterboarding, beat up edges, humped, I think you could do 80% of your work. And even if you don't like the way the grooming is at the end for getting your crown and your water runoff, and you want to go back with your bucket, I bet you'd still be, I'm going to guess you'd still be faster.
Yeah.
And just look at it as a two-phase project instead.
Yeah. If we get out on I do a lot of work for HOAs and community roads, private community roads that are anything up to 3,000 foot long. And that's where the grader, I will use it then, because you can get up and get moving then.
Oh yeah. Because you got to grade. We told everybody you have to grade between 3 to 5 miles an hour. Cause if you go real slow or in creep mode, you don't have enough inertia to push the material through the box.
Yeah.
It just builds up and humps up in the center. You got to get it mixed up. So you got to grade at a faster speed.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, they're a good tool.
Yeah,
I know those things inside and out, man. I used to be able to tell you exactly what the material cost was in those, because that's what we did every day over there. When I was running the company.
Yeah. So I get in with a lot of HOAs down here, or a lot of the presidents for the HOAs, and that's the way I get reoccurring work. Is a lot of times we'll go in and we'll do an initial, a big, huge repair where we'll come in, get everything all graded up nice, bring in a bunch of rock, get everything looking nice, get it compacted. And then I'll say, hey, I'll come in, once a year if you bring me back every year to keep it maintained, not let it get so bad. And I'll give them a price right then and there on that. So I got a lot of
a lot of guys will lock those into 2-3 year maintenance contracts, whether it's once a year, twice a year, grading.
Yeah. And I'll go as far as, because a lot of these guys down here at the lake, they're either old and retired, or they don't live here.
Right.
So, I'll even go as far as to blowing the leaves out of the ditches for them, do all their road maintenance, their ditch maintenance, all that for them.
That's awesome.
Keep their culvert pipes cleaned out. And just a one call type of deal.
I just watched a video the other day. This guy basically just took an old tractor tire, tied a rope around it, and then pulled that rope through the culvert. And I couldn't believe how much mud he pulled out of that culvert.
Yeah.
With a simple old tire.
Pre-planned though. You got to have the rope already through it.
Well, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I don't know if you use a metal pipe or how you get it through to get to the rope to get to the tire or the tractor, but it looked like if you had a system to get the rope from one end to the other, it looked like a pretty slick system for clearing out culverts.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So going full time this year, I think are you scared by that notion?
Well, I've whether it be the military or working for the federal government, I've worked for the man since I've been 19.
Yeah.
So I'm ready. We're ready. So me and the wife have both been doing this for 4 years for 100% free. We have not taken a draw off of our company, not one time.
Wow.
I mean, yes, we've been paid because we buy equipment and we invest it back in, but that's been a priority for me. As we started out with that tractor, and then I bought an old 2014 T650. That was my first skid steer, and then I bought an old Bobcat 337, and now we just keep evolving and growing and investing all our money back in. Yep. And now we're running all brand new. We just bought a brand new 60P John Deere. The phone's doing something there.
Yeah, you're using your phone, right?
Yeah.
This damn software we use to record the podcast will save this video on your phone and then upload it to the cloud afterwards. It's saying your device storage is running low.
That's what it's saying. Yeah. Anyway, so what I'm getting at is we haven't taken money out for personal use. We've invested all back in, but the payoff's about to come now where I can do it full time. And
that's got to feel good to have all that newer equipment where you're under maintenance, you're under warranty, maintenance bills are going to be minimized.
Yeah. Yeah. And dealers, our John Deere dealer out here is awesome.
I saw your hat. You have Martin down there. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. They're up here in Peoria too.
Yeah. They're kick ass. Oh my God. These guys, they treat us amazing. Like they treat us like we're a multi-million-dollar company. Anything we need, they're on it. Like we got all brand new equipment now. If I have any issues whatsoever, no matter where if I'm way down at the lake, I'll call my dealer. I'll just say, hey, man, this thing keeps popping up on me. But if I have any issues with my machine, they'll bring me a loaner down to the job site, keep me moving. They're awesome.
That's awesome, man. I think your phone storage is going to make us end this right at an hour.
Yeah, maybe I'll just leave that little pop-up up. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. But.
No, it won't be on there. It's just a notification for you. But well, man, I'm excited. Actually, Ron, what I would love to do is like if you make the leap this year and you do go full time, and I have a feeling you're going to have to grow with some employees and everything else. I would love to do round 2 this winter just to hear the update on what.
Yeah.
Like how the 2025 journey went for you.
Yeah. That's the thing. I got one mentor. His name is Daryl, and he's the guy I was telling you about. He's been doing this for 40 years, and we were talking last night, and he was like, "What are you gonna do?" He goes, "You gonna keep it a 2-man show, or are you gonna grow it?" I don't know what I'm gonna do. I think I might. I kind of like being just me and my father-in-law because keep it simple.
Well, and then here's the beauty of it, right? Start as a 2-man show. Market will tell you what you need to do, and then you get to determine if that's the direction you want to go or not. Because there's always room for a 2-man show. Always.
Yeah. Yes, sir. And it works out perfect because, I mean, we got that tandem dump truck and a couple skid steers and a mini, and we got more work than we can handle.
I love it. Man. What's one we'll wrap up with this, man. What's one piece of advice you would go back and give yourself 4 years ago?
I would say, and I still do this from time to time, I look at jobs. I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Like I look at jobs as how I look at money. Like I'll second guess bids a lot. I'll be like, man, that seems like a lot of money just to do that little thing. I wouldn't pay that. But, customers do. I would say I wouldn't second guess my prices. Go with what the job's worth and don't second guess my bids.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So I was taught that lesson, Ron, and it was called by don't protect other people's checkbooks.
Yeah.
It's not your job.
Yeah.
So that's awesome, man. Yeah. Well, Ron, I can't thank you enough for taking time out on your day and joining us on the episode today. Thank you for your service. I think I could have talked. I didn't want to bring it up because if I knew I would, I'd talk forever, but I could have talked to you for an hour just about the different types of planes and the things you did on them. And I was like, don't go that route because it'll be an hour just on that. That stuff's intriguing, man. It's pretty cool technology we have as a country.
Oh, it would blow your mind. It's crazy.
I can only imagine, man.
There's some smart people out there, man. I mean, I can barely keep up with just how to maintain it. It's amazing that people can design and come up with these things.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you're interested in all that, just go, I think it's Boeing Skunk Works. Go check that out and see what you can find out on that. It's like the whole private division for the DOD. It's like their engineering division. So, well, awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for your time today. Guys, 4 years, never taking a draw from the business. That's commitment to building a legacy. So some days suck, some days are great, but you got to do what you got to do. And Ron is definitely doing what he needs to do. So until next week, everyone, keep grinding.